Hello, welcome to day number 60. Today's meditation was all about learning how to let go deeper, was learning about how, in more of a subtle way than ever, to not try to get rid of a feeling, but to embrace it even with more openness. The meditation today was really about learning how to be a neutral space, to be a space to allow the energy and the thoughts to be free range as much as possible. Sometimes in my meditations, I find that I'm trying to manipulate energy, or I'm trying to open here, or I'm trying to dissolve this, or I'm trying to dissolve certain thoughts, or basically, just not fully letting go. And fully letting go implies that we allow everything within us to be free range. The energies, the thoughts, the emotions. And I've noticed when you really allow things to be free range in your body, your vibrations, your frequencies, your thoughts, everything, the emotions, your feelings, they start to work themselves out on their own. And because everything is life energy, right? Thoughts are life energy, emotions are life energy, feelings. And life energy, when left undisturbed, always comes into a balance, into a yin and yang harmony, to a light and dark harmony. And so we are life energy, and everything happening within us is just a game of energy. And if we can just allow this energy to do what it needs to do, undisturbed, it always comes back into a balance, into a harmony. It's really our unconscious identification with negativity, right? It's really when we try to manipulate energies or disturb it, or in any way that things can come into imbalance. And it's because sometimes we are coming at trying to manipulate energies from an imbalanced perspective. And so what I was finding today is, can I just let go of any perspective of what I should be feeling or shouldn't be feeling? And can I just accept everything that's coming up and allow it to be how it wants to be? And in one moment today, I was starting to feel anger arise. And it was really subtle how, for the first time, one of the first times, I feel like I truly opened to the anger and let it come through and let it just start becoming this rage within me. And it was feeling really good. And I was like, I could sense this guilt somewhere within me for allowing the anger to come up and for allowing it to feel so good. Because really, when anger comes up and we let it move, it feels good. It's like, yes, this is what I needed. I needed to express this anger. I needed to allow it to pulse through my body. And it was a subtle thing where I was really opening to anger in a deeper way. And I could just, if you could have seen my face when I was meditating, I probably just looked so, like I was in so much rage. But letting myself feel this rage was so healing and so cathartic. And I could feel this anger, boil up, and I was consciously just allowing it to move and express, and I was holding no judgment to it or myself for feeling it. And that's the thing. I think so many of us have guilt about feeling anger. I know I do. I've become a master at feeling fear because I felt it so often. It's that which we feel so often that we become a master at alchemizing, transmuting, right? Anger has been one on this path, an emotion on this path that I haven't felt a lot. And when I do feel it, I open as much as I can, but there's still always been that part of me that feels guilty for feeling anger. And I think this is something that's programmed into us. And this anger, as my teacher, Craig Holliday, teaches, and that I pass on to you guys, says, our anger is our power. And today I felt that more experientially than I ever have. It just felt so good to let that anger come up, really express and churn into something like white hot, like really like rage, and just to have the space, the conscious space to allow it to be what it wanted to be, to allow this energy to transform on its own. And to not hold any ideas about it or what it means or where it came from or even thinking in the moment like this is my power. No, just letting it be anger and letting the anger turn into rage and letting the rage be cathartic and letting the rage, and it just moved through. And then I came to this place, I could feel like this tingling after or something, like these, you know what I mean? Like you you shake up a snow globe and then you see like the, you know what I'm saying? Like the energies. But that was fascinating, is to just let the anger become rage. And it's interesting how I will attach to being high vibrational. When I have a period of a few days, I start to make an identity out of being high vibe or connected. And this is something I think we all do. So many people, when I'm talking about this, I'm realizing so many people right now on planet Earth are losing that which they've created an identity out of. So many people have said, I am how much money is in my bank account, or I am my job, what I do, or I am this object, these objects. And so much in the world right now is happening that people are starting to lose that which they have thought was them, whether that's their money in their bank account, their job, certain objects, maybe relationships. And for us on this path, we have, I would say for the most part, transcended thinking that our identity is our money in our bank account, right? Or an object or what we do. So many of you watching this probably have let go of those identifications by now or are on the way to doing that. But the thing we can get caught up in identifying with on the spiritual path is our vibration, is our frequency or our spiritual knowings, or am I whatever the thing is for you spiritually that you might make an identity out of. And the big one for me is my vibration, and I was starting to do that a little bit yesterday. And so it's interesting when life hands us a lower feeling, a lower vibration, when it just spontaneously arises within us, when an old pattern comes up that really needs to be seen and that needs to be shown to source for a long period of time, how much we can resist that lower pattern, that lower vibration and feeling, because we become identified as the one who's in a higher vibration, right? And so even identifying with that is an impediment to embracing our lower, our older patterns that need to be seen and that need to be felt and that need to be healed. And the more we cling to saying, I am this vibration and I need this to go away so I don't lose who I am, so I don't lose this vibration which I've created a self out of, well then that's going to just only cause us to feel the lower pattern more, because we're resisting it, right? And whatever you resist persists. And I found this in myself yesterday as I was in a really high vibration, and then because I've been creating all this space, an old pattern of fear, like a really dense and heavy one, really came up and needed my love, needed me to shine my awareness on it, needed to be seen by source. I found that I was resisting this pattern because no, I'm this person. And just like someone who makes an identity out of the money in their bank account, and then when their bank account starts going to zero, they feel like they're dying, they feel like their self-worth is plummeting, they feel like who they are is no more. That was what was happening to me yesterday as my higher vibration started dissipating and as lower vibration started coming in to be integrated. I felt like I was dying. The self who I had made an identity out of was dying. And then I falsely thought, oh, I must be this lower vibration. But then once I realized I'm neither. I'm not a vibration. I'm the space in which allows for the high and the low vibration, you know? It's so funny though. We can get identified with the game of energy, the dance of energy going on within that which we are. And that's what I did. And I'll probably do it again. And it's no big deal. And what I found through this whole process is life brings us these old patterns to, yes, integrate and heal, and that they need to be seen. But also this movement of healing is helping us to break identification from the mind even more. Because it's being identified with the mind that even allows for saying, I'm this vibration, or I'm this amount of money in my bank account, or I am this job, right? And if we weren't identified with the mind, then we wouldn't get caught up on these false identifications, which keep us from resisting, or which keep us from embracing, you know, the aspects of us that need to be integrated. And so identification with the mind causes more pain because it keeps us from embracing these aspects, and then these aspects, you know, they tend to persist. They tend to stay around until we break identification so that we can be open to it all, so that we can have the space for it all to exist within, and then we become a conduit for our energy and our thoughts to be free range. And I noticed today to truly allow your energy and your thoughts to be free range within you, you can't be identified with yourself as a concept or anything like that. It truly is, this path is truly about letting go of identification with the mind and, you know, allowing it all to exist within you and not getting entangled in the movement of healing, because it's going to be like this for a while. You know, I'm 2.5 years into it, and it's been like this, and sometimes it's like higher for a while, and then you dip, and it's just, the more you get identified with the ups and the downs, the more you're going to have. But the more you can have a space of neutrality for it all, and the more you can break identification with the mind and know yourself as the space in which it is all happening, as the space in which the up and downs are happening, the more you're going to find, you know, this balance and this harmony with the process. So, you are not your vibration, you're not the money in your bank account, you probably already know that. But it's interesting how the spiritual ego will say, yes, I can see I'm not all these material things. But then it will just cling to the spiritual things, right? And start making an identity out of that. So, yeah, day 60. The lessons just keep coming in. Today's lesson, allow everything within you to be free range. Be a space of openness and neutrality to it all. Allow it all up without any guilt. And if you have something really heavy coming up, right after a period of breakthroughs and high vibrations and wide open consciousness, know that this is normal. And I know it can be hard and frustrating for the mind and the ego. I'm going through that right now. But this is very normal because now we have the space to allow that, you know, something very deep within to come up. Whereas we didn't have the space before. We couldn't go that deep. And so sometimes on this path, what I've noticed from meditating for now 60 days for 2 or more hours every single day, is when things come up now, they don't come up as often anymore. But when they do, they're really big, and they're really heavy, and they're really dense, and they take a long time to dissolve. They take a long time to really alchemize. So what I'm feeling today, I showed it to Source last night for 3 hours. I've showed it to Source this morning for over 2 hours. And I'm just going to keep letting Source see this heavy pattern that's come up, this old pattern. And without judgment. And if it brings searing hot anger, beautiful. If it brings more fear, I know what to do with that. Whatever it brings, beautiful. I'm going to love that. And to tell this pattern, to tell this fear, this anger, this pain, I'm going to sit here with you and show you to Source until you feel better. I love you so much. I don't care if it takes till the end of time. I'm going to sit here and keep showing you to Source until you feel loved, until you feel accepted. And it's only when we can break identification with ourselves as an identity that we can have that true openness to really embrace the heaviness. So, day 60, what a journey. I love how you guys are with me through the highs and the lows. I tell you, this process, it burns you down and then builds you back up, and then burns you down again and builds you back up. It's really a beautiful process. I'm so appreciative to have all of you joining me on this, and of course, doing the work yourself, doing the inner work yourself. I'm sure you are, my process mirrors your own and your process mirrors mine. It's beautiful to share in this with you all. So I will see you on day 61. Namaste.